should have hung up the first time. It was a Tuesday night around 9 p.m. I was lying on my couch, half watching some cooking show I wasn't really paying attention to. My phone buzzed on the coffee table, unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but sometimes work calls from different extensions, so I picked up. Hello? Silence. Just that hollow, empty kind of silence you get on a bad connection. Hello? I said again, already pulling the phone away to hang up. Then a voice, male, calm, almost friendly. Is this Sarah? I hesitated. My name isn't common, but it's not rare either. Could have been anyone. Who's calling? I'm trying to reach Sarah Mitchell. From Riverside Drive. My stomach dropped a little. That was my street. But telemarketers had addresses sometimes, right? Data breaches. Public records. I tried to shake it off. What's this about? I just wanted to make sure I had the right person, the voice said. Still calm, still weirdly polite. The house with the blue shutters, number 47. I sat up straight. My house was number 47, blue shutters. I painted them myself last spring. I think you have the wrong number, I said, keeping my voice steady even though my pulse was picking up. Do I? A pause. That's strange, because I'm pretty sure the lights are on in your living room right now. I looked at the window. The blinds were halfway open. The lamp beside the couch was on, casting everything in warm yellow light. From the street, someone could absolutely see in. My mouth went dry. Who is this? Just someone who's been trying to get in touch. His tone didn't change, no menace. No anger, just conversational, like we were old friends catching up. I left you a note yesterday. Did you get it? A note, I thought back. There'd been a flyer tucked into my screen door yesterday morning. I'd assumed it was for lawn care or something. I didn't even look at it before tossing it in the recycling. I don't know what you're talking about, I said. My voice came out sharper than I intended. That's okay. I figured you might not notice. You seem busy, always coming home late. Working hard, I guess. He knew my schedule. I stood up, my legs shaky, and walked quickly to the window. I yanked the blinds shut. Outside, the street looked normal. A few parked cars, porch lights glowing. No one standing there staring at my house. No one I could see. What do you want? I asked, trying to sound braver than I felt. I just want to talk, Sarah. Is that so strange? I ended the call. My hand was trembling as I set the phone down on the coffee table. I told myself it was a prank. Some bored kid with too much time and a reverse phone lookup app. But my heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I locked the front door, then the back. Checked every window. Everything was secure. I turned off the living room lamp and stood in the dark for a minute. Listening, nothing. Just the hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. The distant sound of a dog barking a few houses down. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number, same one. I didn't answer. I just stared at the screen until it stopped ringing. A few seconds later, a text came through. You didn't have to hang up. I wasn't finished. I dropped the phone like it burned me. It clattered onto the hardwood floor, screen up, still glowing. I backed away from it, pressing myself against the wall. Another text. I know you're scared. That's normal, but there's no reason to be. Then another. I'm not going to hurt you. My breath was coming in short, shallow gasps. I grabbed my phone and blocked the number. My hands were shaking so badly, it took 3 tries to tap the right buttons. I thought about calling the police, but what would I even say? Someone called me and knew my address? Lots of people knew my address. Mail carriers. Delivery drivers, neighbors. And he hadn't actually threatened me. Not in any way the cops would take seriously. I was overreacting, I had to be. I poured myself a glass of water and sat down at the kitchen table, trying to calm down. I'm a 32-year-old woman with a decent job, a mortgage, and a completely normal life. I don't have enemies. I don't have stalkers. This was just some weird coincidence. That's what I kept telling myself. I went upstairs to my bedroom, triple-checked that the window was locked, and climbed into bed with all my clothes still on. I kept my phone on the nightstand, volume up, just in case. In case of what, I didn't know. Sleep didn't come easy. I kept replaying the conversation in my head. His voice, the way he said my name, the casual way he mentioned my house, my schedule, like he'd been watching me for a while and it was the most natural thing in the world. Around 2 a.m., I finally drifted off. I woke up to the sound of my phone ringing. The room was still dark. My alarm clock said 3:47 a.m. I fumbled for my phone, squinting at the screen. Unknown number. Different one this time. I didn't answer. I just stared at it, my heart hammering in my chest until it stopped ringing. Then it started again. Immediately, I answered. I don't know why. Maybe because some part of me needed to know. Needed to hear his voice again and confirm that this was real. Hello? Sarah. Same voice. Same eerie calmness. You blocked me. That wasn't very nice. I couldn't speak. My throat had closed up. I understand though, you're scared. But blocking me won't help. I have lots of numbers. Leave me alone, I managed to whisper. I can't do that, not yet. We have things to discuss. I'm calling the police. Go ahead. He sounded amused. Tell them a man called you. Tell them he knows where you live. They'll take a report. They'll tell you to call back if anything actually happens. And then they'll forget about you. He was right. I knew he was right. What do you want? I asked again, louder this time. I want you to listen. Can you do that? I didn't answer. Your bedroom window faces the backyard, he said slowly. The one with the white curtains. You left it cracked open tonight. Just a couple inches. It's stuffy in there this time of year, isn't it? I looked at the window. He was right. I'd left it open a crack before getting into bed. From outside in the dark, someone could see the faint outline of my room, the shape of me in bed. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I sat on my bed with my back against the headboard, knees pulled to my chest, staring at the locked window. Every sound made me flinch. The house settling, the furnace kicking on, a car passing on the street. By the time the sun started to rise, I felt hollow, exhausted, and still terrified. I called in sick to work. I couldn't imagine sitting in my office pretending everything was normal when I could barely hold my hands steady enough to brush my teeth. At 9 a.m., I called the police non-emergency line. I explained everything. The calls, the text, the fact that he knew my house, my schedule, my bedroom window. The officer who took my report sounded tired. Sympathetic, but tired. He told me what I already knew. Without an explicit threat, there wasn't much they could do. He suggested I document everything, keep my doors locked, maybe stay with a friend for a few nights. Has this person tried to contact you in person? He asked. No, I said. Not that I know of. Well, if that changes, call 911 immediately. In the meantime, we'll keep a record of this. If he contacts you again, let us know. That was it. I was on my own. I thought about staying with my sister, but she lived 2 hours away, and I didn't want to drag her into this. Didn't want to admit how scared I was. Didn't want her to think I was losing it, so I stayed. I kept all the blinds closed. I turned on every light in the house, even during the day. I ordered a video doorbell online and paid extra for next day shipping. For the rest of the morning, my phone stayed quiet. No calls, no texts. I started to think maybe he'd gotten bored, moved on to someone else. That hope lasted until about 2 p.m. I was sitting at my kitchen table trying to eat a sandwich I had no appetite for when I heard something outside. A rustling sound, like someone brushing against the bushes near my back door. I froze, sandwich halfway to my mouth. I waited, listened, nothing. Then I heard it again, closer this time. I stood up slowly, quietly, and moved toward the back door. It was solid wood with a small window at the top. I stood on my toes and peeked through. Nothing, just my small backyard. The fence. The neighbor's house visible through the trees. I was about to turn away when I saw it. A folded piece of paper tucked under the edge of my doormat. My blood turned to ice. I didn't open the door. I just stared at it through the glass, my breath fogging up the window. Someone had been here. Just now, while I was inside. I backed away from the door, my whole body shaking, and grabbed my phone. I thought about calling the police again, but what would I say? Someone left a note? I waited 5 minutes, 10. Then I unlocked the door, opened it just a crack, and snatched the paper as fast as I could before slamming it shut and locking it again. My hands were trembling so badly I could barely unfold it. The note was handwritten in neat, careful letters. You look tired, Sarah. You should get some rest. I'll check on you tonight, wearing casual at-home clothing in neutral tones, light gray t-shirt and comfortable pants, simple and understated style. I couldn't stay there. I grabbed my keys, my phone, my wallet, and I left. I didn't pack a bag. I didn't think. I just got in my car and drove. I ended up at a coffee shop downtown, one of those busy places with lots of people and big windows facing the street, somewhere public. Somewhere I could see everyone around me. I sat in the corner with my back to the wall and ordered a coffee I didn't drink. My phone sat on the table in front of me, screen up. I kept waiting for it to buzz, for another call, another text. It didn't. I tried to think rationally. Who could this be? An ex? I hadn't dated anyone seriously in over a year, and my last breakup had been completely amicable. A coworker? I got along fine with everyone at the office. A neighbor? I didn't know most of them well, but I never had a problem with anyone. No one made sense. Around 5 p.m., I forced myself to eat something. A muffin from the counter. It tasted like sawdust, but I choked it down anyway. By 7 p.m., the coffee shop was getting ready to close. I couldn't sit there forever. I thought about getting a hotel, but the idea of being alone in a strange room felt even worse than being at home. At least at home, I knew the layout. I knew where everything was. I drove back. The sun was setting as I pulled into my driveway. The house looked exactly the same as when I'd left. Normal, quiet, the video doorbell I had ordered still hadn't arrived. I sat in my car for a long time, staring at my front door, trying to work up the courage to go inside. Finally, I did. Everything looked fine, untouched. I checked every room. Every closet, under the bed. Behind the shower curtain, nothing. I locked every door and window. I turned on all the lights again. I pulled a kitchen chair into my bedroom and wedged it under the doorknob. Then I sat on my bed and waited. Hours passed. Midnight came and went. My eyes were burning from exhaustion, but I couldn't let myself fall asleep. At 2:13 a.m., my phone rang. I didn't recognize the number, but by now I knew it was him. I answered. "What do you want from me?" "I told you I'd check on you tonight." His voice was soft, almost gentle. "You came back." "That was brave. Where are you?" I demanded, my voice shaking. "Close. If you come near my house, I'm calling the police." "You already did that. They didn't help, did they?" A pause. "Do you want to know why I'm doing this, Sarah?" "Yes, because I can. Simple, matter of fact. Because you're alone. Because no one's paying attention. And because you're restarting to realize that all the locks and lights and cops in the world won't stop me if I really want to get in." My stomach twisted. "You're insane. Maybe, or maybe I'm just honest. Most people live their whole lives pretending they're safe, but their houses protect them. That someone will save them if something goes wrong. But you know better now, don't you?" I didn't answer. "Good night, Sarah. Sleep well." He hung up. I sat there in the dark, my phone still pressed to my ear, listening to the silence. And then I heard it. A soft sound. So faint, I almost missed it. The sound of footsteps. On my roof. I couldn't move. I sat frozen on my bed, staring up at the ceiling, listening. The footsteps were slow, deliberate, moving from one end of the roof to the other, right above my bedroom. Then they stopped. I held my breath. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might burst out of my chest. Silence, then a scraping sound, like something being dragged across the shingles. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it. 911, what's your emergency? "There's someone on my roof," I whispered. "Someone's on my roof right now." "Ma'am, what's your address?" I gave it to her. My voice was barely audible. "Are you in a safe location inside the home?" "I'm in my bedroom. The door's locked." "But he's right above me." "I can hear him." "Stay where you are. Officers are on the way." "Stay on the line with me." I pressed the phone to my ear with both hands like it was the only thing tethering me to reality. The operator kept talking, asking me questions, trying to keep me calm. But I couldn't focus on her words. All I could hear were the sounds above me. More footsteps. Moving toward the edge of the roof now. Toward the back of the house. Toward my bedroom window. "He's coming to my window," I said, my voice cracking. A shadow moved across the glass. I screamed. It was just a silhouette. A shape. Someone crouched outside my second-story window, backlit by the streetlight from the next block. I couldn't see his face, just the outline of him. Pressed against the glass, watching. Ma'am, are you okay?" I couldn't answer. I couldn't breathe. The figure didn't move. He just stayed there, crouched on the narrow ledge outside my window, his hand pressed flat against the glass. Then, slowly, he lifted his other hand and waved. A slow, deliberate wave. like he was greeting an old friend. I heard sirens in the distance. Faint at first, then louder, closer. The figure tilted his head, listening. Then, just as calmly as he'd appeared, he stood up and disappeared from view. By the time the police arrived, he was gone. 2 officers searched the property. They checked the roof, the yard, the street. They found scuff marks on the shingles and a partial footprint near the gutter. But no sign of anyone. One of the officers, a woman in her 40s with short dark hair and a kind but tired expression, sat with me in my living room while her partner continued searching outside. She asked me to walk her through everything again. I did. The calls, the text, the notes. "Tonight, you did the right thing calling us," she said. "We're going to increase patrols in your neighborhood. And I'd recommend staying somewhere else for a few days while we investigate. What if he follows me?" She didn't have an answer for that. They left around 4 a.m. I sat alone in my house, every light on, unable to even think about sleep. The next morning, I called a locksmith. I had every lock in the house changed. I installed motion sensor lights outside. I bought pepper spray, a baseball bat, and a wireless security camera that I mounted above my front door. I did everything I could think of, but I still didn't feel safe because I knew deep down that none of it mattered. He'd already proven he could get close whenever he wanted, that he could watch me, follow me, wait, and the worst part, I still had no idea who he was. 3 days passed without any contact, no calls, no texts, no notes, no footsteps on the roof. The police told me they were investigating, but they didn't have much to go on. No fingerprints, no DNA, no witnesses. Just a guy who was very good at not leaving evidence. I tried to go back to work. I needed the distraction. Needed to pretend my life was still normal. But I couldn't focus. I kept checking my phone, glancing out the window, jumping every time someone walked past my desk. On the 4th day, my coworker Emma asked if I was okay. She was 26. With curly red hair she always wore in a ponytail and an infectious laugh that normally made everyone around her smile. Today, though, her face was creased with concern. "You've seemed really off lately," she said gently. I wanted to tell her, to explain everything. But I didn't, because saying it out loud would make it too real. Would make me sound paranoid, unstable. "I'm fine," I lied. "Just not sleeping well." She didn't push, but I could see she didn't believe me. That night, I came home to find my front door unlocked. I knew I'd locked it. I knew I had. I'd checked it twice before leaving that morning. But now the knob turned freely in my hand. I stood on my porch, frozen, staring at the door. My new security camera was still there, mounted above the frame, its little red light blinking. But somehow, it didn't make me feel any safer. I pulled out my phone and opened the camera app. I rewound the footage from today. There, at 11:32 a.m., a man walked up to my door. He was white, maybe in his late 30s or early 40s, average height, wearing a plain gray hoodie and jeans. A baseball cap pulled low over his face. I couldn't see his features clearly. He stood there for a moment, looking directly at the camera. Then he reached into his pocket and pulled out a key. My key. He unlocked the door, stepped inside, and closed it behind him. At 11:47 a.m., he came back out, locked the door, and walked away. 15 minutes. He'd been inside my house for 15 minutes. I called the police again. They came. They searched. Nothing was missing. Nothing was broken. No sign of forced entry. But he'd been inside. One of the officers, a younger guy with blonde hair and a nervous energy, suggested I change my locks again. "Maybe he copied your key somehow," he said, "before you had them changed the first time." But how? When? I couldn't answer that. And neither could he. That night, I didn't stay at my house. I packed a bag and drove to a cheap motel on the edge of town. I paid cash. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. I thought maybe, finally, I'd be able to sleep. But at 3 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "The motel on Route 9, room 14. You're 3 doors down from the ice machine." "I can hear it from here, can you?" I listened, and I heard it. The low hum of the ice machine. The occasional clunk as it dropped cubes into the bin. He was here. Fair to light tan skin, wearing common and discreet clothing in dark tones, black jacket and dark pants. Every day in anonymous style. I didn't leave the room. I didn't even move. I just sat on the bed, my back pressed against the headboard, clutching my phone, too terrified to breathe too loud. I called 911 again. The operator told me to stay put, to keep the door locked, to wait for officers to arrive. They were there in 12 minutes. It felt like hours. They searched the motel. Every room that was occupied. Every car in the parking lot. Every shadow, nothing. Maybe he was bluffing, one of the officers said. Trying to scare you. But I knew he wasn't bluffing. He'd known exactly where I was, exactly which room, how. I didn't go back to my house. I didn't go back to that motel. I drove 2 hours to my sister's place and showed up on her doorstep at 6 a.m., shaking and exhausted and too scared to even explain what was happening. She didn't ask questions. She just let me in, made me tea, and told me I could stay as long as I needed. For 3 days, I felt almost normal, safe, like maybe I'd finally escaped. Then on the third night, I got another text. Your sister's house is nice. The yellow one on Maple Street, 2 bedrooms. She keeps a spare key under the flower pot by the garage. I showed my sister the text. Her face went pale. She checked the flower pot. The key was still there. We called the police. Again, they came. Again, searched, found nothing. Again. That's when I realized something. He wasn't trying to hurt me. Not physically. If he'd wanted to do that, he could have, multiple times. He'd had access to my house. He'd been on my roof. He'd watched me sleep. No, he was doing something worse. He was taking away my sense of safety, my sense of control. He was proving over and over again that nowhere was safe, that no lock, no alarm, no police officer could protect me, that I was always being watched, always vulnerable. And the worst part, it was working. I stopped sleeping. I stopped eating. I couldn't focus on anything except the constant knowing fear that he was somewhere nearby, watching, waiting. My sister begged me to see a therapist. Maybe someone who specialized in trauma, stalking, PTSD. I went, once. The therapist, a woman in her 50s with graying brown hair and a calm, measured voice, listened to my story. Then she asked me a question I'll never forget. Do you think he wants to hurt you? Or do you think he wants you to hurt yourself? I didn't have an answer. But I thought about it every day after that. It's been 6 months now. The calls stopped. The texts stopped. I haven't seen him, haven't heard from him. I moved to a new city, a new job, a new apartment. I don't tell anyone my address. I don't post on social media. I keep my blinds closed and my doors locked, and I check over my shoulder every time I leave the house, but I still don't feel safe. Because I know somewhere in the back of my mind that he's still out there. That maybe he got bored. Or maybe he's just waiting, watching, biding his time. And the scariest part? I'll never know which one it is. I'll never know if it's truly over or if it's just a pause. Wearing casual at-home clothing in neutral tones, light gray t-shirt and comfortable pants. Simple and understated style.